So I'm heading out to run some errands, and I figure on the way there I can talk a little bit about my thoughts on the DC FanDome. And this is a very normal route that I take all the time, and don't worry guys, I'm a pretty hyper vigilant driver. However, the DC FanDome was seemingly organized relatively quickly. I mean, I can't imagine they spent more than two months putting the whole thing together. It just kind of all seemed like it was done very fast. Obviously, I could be totally wrong with that, but Warner Brothers is obviously the first company, DC, whatever. They're the first ones to really do all of this, and the whole thing started off. I think at the time I was working on the comparison of my custom Lego Ahsoka and 332nd Trooper, and I was just really exhausted and just not really ready to watch the FanDome, but it was going on anyway. So got on there. It's all pre-recorded stuff, so it's fine. But man, you could tell how heavily edited these digital panels were that they clearly did on Zoom or whatever. Because so much of it is just so cringe and just kind of so cheesy and corporate, and so many, PR movie buzzword statements tossed around. There are only so many ways you can describe things, but the Wonder Woman 1984 digital panel was good. I enjoy listening to Patty Jenkins and her and Gal Gadot's passion for the franchise, but some of the stuff with like Linda Carter and Kristen Wiig got a little bit cringy, and I was like, okay. So I have to say, it's an unpopular opinion, but let me preface by saying I loved Wonder Woman 19, I guess I could say 19, whatever, whichever year of World War I it was taking place. But the first Wonder Woman film I thought was just incredible. I thought the cinematography was incredible, the set design and how everything just looked so incredibly authentic to not only Themyscira, but also, of course, the time period. And I also thought that the score was incredible. I really enjoyed everything about that film, even that final Ares fight that seems popular to dislike. So this one for me is just, I don't know. I just found this trailer to be much more bland. It's not as, I don't know. I just thought, Cheetah looks goofy. I think the Amazonian armor that Diana is wearing for that final fight looks kind of goofy. I think the fight that they seem to have, the confrontation inside the government building, seems kind of goofy and bland looking. There's just so much of it seems generic and bland to me, and it just didn't do anything for me. That being said, I'll still check it out, but I have a feeling that I'm still going to prefer the first Wonder Woman film personally. So that was a thing. Then a couple other things happened. They revealed Gotham Knights, which I think it looks fun. I'm not opposed to playing it. It's just, it looks very generic. The graphics only look a little bit better than like the questionable graphics of Marvel's Avengers coming out right now, finally. I kind of, because of how set back the graphics look for the Avengers game, I haven't really been playing the betas. I'm just waiting for the full game and haven't even decided if I want to get it yet. So this DC, Gotham Knights game, it looks fine. It just, it looks fun, but just incredibly generic. It doesn't look like there's any reason to play that game necessarily over the main Arkham games or Spider-Man PS4 or literally any other game that seems more comprehensive in terms of the combat system and maybe even the story, but obviously we have no idea what the story is going to be about. But the one thing that I thought was inexcusable with that Gotham Knights trailer was how god-awful the voice cast was. I mean, that garbage just sounded like PS2 generic cereal box sounding characters, like cereal box commercial sounding characters. I could not believe how bad the voice actors were for both Batgirl and Robin. I thought they were horrendous. I mean, it was comically bad. So yeah, I mean, Gotham Knights looks fun to play, but just incredibly generic. And then another thing too, you had the Flash panel shortly thereafter, which was kind of bizarre. It was, the It director, I forget his name. I'm not familiar with those movies. I never saw them. I'm not familiar with his work either, but he was on there for some pre-recorded footage with Ezra Miller, and Ezra Miller was doing all these cringy flashbacks, and it wasn't funny. It was really bad. It was god-awful. They didn't have anything to show quite yet, because obviously they're still so early in development after years and years and years of getting this movie off the ground and rotating directors and flipping scripts. I mean, the Flash movie, it has been almost like a joke at this point since it was announced in 2014. So, I mean, I'm excited that it's finally happening. I'm interested to see how they work both Michael Keaton's Batman in there. The new suit, the one thing they did reveal with the Flash panel, looks incredible, and I definitely already prefer it to the Justice League suit. Even though the Justice League suit was really interesting and very practical and very realistic, I definitely prefer what they're doing with the actual Flash solo movie. And they also changed his lightning color. So the Speed Force lightning is now yellow and not blue, which is interesting, and I wonder if there's actually going to be a real explanation for how that happens. It would be nice if they worked that into the story. And speaking about, how they might work things into the story, I really hope that they find a way to naturally work Ben Affleck's recast into the story, because that's something that I thought was a missed opportunity that Ben Affleck, could have used if he were able to stick around longer, and now thankfully he is. And I've talked about this before on the channel already, where you can take Barry Allen and the Flashpoint storyline and send Barry through time all throughout the film, traveling through the multiverse, changing things, what have you, and then you come back and Bruce Wayne looks different. He's a different guy. To me, that's the only explanation that I would accept and, be willing and open to accept for the DCEU to move forward without Ben Affleck. Because what other storyline can you use to recast the lead of your cinematic universe? So here's hoping that they decide to do that. Obviously, that's assuming Ben Affleck doesn't want to stick around after The Flash. We shall see. I mean, in a perfect world, beyond Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, we would also be getting the confirmation of Justice League Part 2 finally happening. But either way, one thing that also got me very excited, of course, was Zack Snyder's Justice League footage. Already looking amazing. Very Watchmen reminiscent with how he stylized the trailer with the aspect ratio and the music he put to it. And you've got the footage just already looking fantastic. The god-awful Joss Whedon color grading is gone. It's not there anymore. Steppenwolf looks amazing and consistent with how he looked in the Batman vs. Superman deleted scene with Lex that was then later included in the Ultimate Cut. He just looks amazing now. You have so much, new stuff in there, because this is obviously Zack's canon with this film. So you have Silas Stone getting eviscerated by the mother box, which was crazy and a spoiler-heavy thing that he threw in there. I guess to make the point very clear that it's going to be unique and different, and just so much of the footage looks unique and different. You have black suit Superman, and just so much more of the footage that is way more well-rounded already. Obviously, the big thing is, having the trailer open with the ancient Darkseid flashback, which was very satisfying, but also very bittersweet, because as someone who fully believed and supported the DCEU before Justice League happened and everything fell apart, beginning in 2017, I was always looking forward to seeing Darkseid, just as much as I was looking forward to seeing Thanos fully realized on screen. And we got Thanos, but we never got Darkseid. So I it's cool. The CG is very clearly unfinished, which is fine. And, but like I say, it's bittersweet because there's almost something somber about it, because, you know that there's a very good chance we're not ever going to see Darkseid face off against Ben Affleck's Batman, Henry Cavill's Superman, the Justice League, the Green Lantern Corps, on Apocalypse, everything that we were kind of promised. And but it is, we're still being offered closure here. And the biggest bomb that he dropped is that all in all, it's going to be a little bit longer than even his director's cut of Watchmen, coming in at a whopping 4 hours, separated into 1 hour parts on HBO Max. And they're working on a distribution plan and when they're going to release it and how it's going to go down. You had the HBO Max kind of alluding to the possibility of a Justice League sequel happening, but maybe that was just an offhanded remark by whichever intern is running that account. Who knows? Regardless, Zack Snyder's Justice League looks incredible, and I loved the passion emanating off that guy. I always love his passion. I mean, he's literally doing it for free, for God's sake, and having a couple of the people on there, the woman from China, and then the other guy, I believe his name was Dex, and the two people that were very instrumental in kickstarting the Save the Snyder Cut campaign. Very rational, very normal people. It was really cool. So that was a thing. I caught only a brief glimpse of the first teaser for the Suicide Squad game by Rocksteady, which looks excellent, very colorful and very fun. And to be honest, I'm excited to play it in 2022. It's just, it's crazy that first of all, that's going to be consistent with the Arkhamverse. But to me, the Suicide Squad game looks more like the way I wished the Suicide Squad looked. Now, granted, James Gunn only got on there with the full cast for the very cringy digital panel. But it was fun. At least the actors seemed to all have fun. The Suicide Squad, it looks, so over the top. Like James Gunn is purposefully taking it as far over the top as humanly possible, with a crazy, wild, massive cast. I'm excited for his take on Suicide Squad. It's just, it looks like the movie is very noisy. It's very, it's a lot, and I hope that the characters will all be done justice, despite having all these seemingly expendable side characters around. Regardless, I am looking forward to it. It looks like fun. I like the costumes. You got a lot to look forward to in there. Margot Robbie back as Harley Quinn. You've got Joel Kinnaman. You've got, Viola Davis returning. You've got Idris Elba in there. You've got so many of the great actors that were already a part of the Suicide Squad franchise, beginning with the 2016 film. So, I am excited for it. I just don't quite know what to expect, and I just hope that it won't go so over the top that James Gunn kind of loses me, because a little too much creative freedom in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 got us quite a few dick jokes that were wildly unnecessary and not really appreciated. So, otherwise, I am very much excited for the Batman. That was the big final panel. They brought out Matt Reeves for onto the green screen FanDome, and he talked for about 20 minutes of just him passionately talking about the film and the Batman mythos. And Robert Pattinson gave a very introverted and quiet and reserved little intro tag, and that was cool. But the footage, the trailer was, as someone who is a hardcore fan of Ben Affleck's Batman, it was just completely divine. And I wasn't expecting to be excited for the Batman. I really wasn't. I was very impartial to it after Ben Affleck's Batman was cut off from the DCEU, because he obviously, for rightfully so, decided to step away after everything that went down, albeit in his personal life or how Justice League panned out, and just way too many factors that were working against him to justify continuing. And I'm so glad he's back with the Flash now. That's, as I said, it's very exciting, and how they might finally wrap up the story properly. But Robert Pattinson's Batman completely won me over. the visual style was phenomenal in this trailer. Incredible. The music was incredible. The idea of fully embracing a Batman who's just starting out and not just kind of glossing over it after 20 or 30 minutes and actually really staying in that time frame where everything is first starting off. You know, Bruce doesn't have all the craziest tech in the world, clearly doesn't have a Lucius Fox yet or anything quite like that. He's just on, you know, just year 2 of being the Batman, and he's going up against the Riddler, who's now coming into full form. You know, Penguin and Selena Kyle are becoming their characters. There's just so much about the Batman that is so ripe with potential, but of course the shots of him actually in the suit were incredible. I mean, the fight sequences we were shown were absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't believe how great the suit looked on screen. It was oh my God. And I'm interested to see Robert Pattinson's take on Bruce Wayne. I think more than anything, I'm still just generally excited for his performance, but now I'm also just excited for the whole film in general, when I really did not think I was going to be. So with all of that, that concludes my talk on the DC FanDome. That vlog lasted exactly how long it took for me to arrive at my destination. So got here safely. Like I said, we're all good to go, and I wanted to take this opportunity to chat about DC FanDome. I hope Lucasfilm and Marvel, whether it be this year or the next, will follow suit in hosting more digital cons, as DC FanDome was really fun and really exciting, even, you know, despite its cringy moments. And yeah, so anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this drive, and I will catch you in the next vlog, whatever it may be. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.